What's up, everybody? Welcome to Storm Sessions. My name is Danny Enriquez, and I'm here with Bobby Barrels himself, Bobby Marsh. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed and honored to be on this show today. I'm excited to get to talking with you.
No, glad to have you. Been a really fun season. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, but really the highs have been just incredible, especially given the adversity you guys have been through. I could get the sense talking to you before we started, this is just a really, really closely bonded team. I mean, tell me a little bit about just the team and the atmosphere in the clubhouse.
So, as you said, there's been a lot of ups and downs. Whenever we got here originally, there was 35, 36 new guys. So to start off in the fall and then in the beginning of the year, no one really knew what we were all about. Like, obviously, we bonded really well off the field. We were hanging out every weekend, doing things together as much as we could. But like we were just having fall practices, like inter-squatting against each other. Like getting into the season, you didn't really know how to play with each other. And I think despite the culture that we built, obviously we're going to struggle a little bit with 35 new guys. But then as the season went on, we started to figure out what we were and who we were on the field. The culture that we had kind of built off the field started to come onto the field, just getting to know each other as players. And that kind of just snowballed into the team that we are today. And it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun to watch. I know a lot of people still watching and supporting this run, which has been, again, just awesome from a fan perspective, knowing what you guys have been through. Mm-hmm. The university itself, right? You're coming from the north. I know you've spent time in South Florida. We'll get to that. But from Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, close to Penn State, the city of Miami, or city of Coral Gables, I should say, University of Miami, what's it been like for you?
It's a dream come true. I know we'll get into that later, but like I've said on the field, in post-game interviews and things like that, this is my dream school. I came down here to play for my dream team. I've been watching the University of Miami baseball team for as long as I can remember, back whenever they were doing really good, whenever we were going to Omaha back in the day, even as recent as hosting regionals and having all that kind of success. So being here and being able to live out my dream has been awesome.
Have you adjusted just to the city and again, you were at FAU, we'll talk about it. So you've seen it a little bit, but now living in Coral Gables, it's not like the city of Miami, right? It's kind of its own unique deal. What's that been like?
I love it. I can say that Coral Gables is my home. As soon as I stepped foot down here in late July, I fell in love with it. Over winter breaks, I didn't really leave. I spent like 2 weeks at home, and I just really love it here. It's very easy to transition to.
Well, going back home, so you grew up a family of five, right? Two older sister, younger sister.
Yes.
I know you put a lot of hard work to become the player that you are today. So just in terms of your relationship with baseball and kind of how you got started and what you liked about the game.
So I started playing baseball when I was 4 or 5 years old. Surprisingly, my dad, he played basketball in college, so he tried to get me into baseball and basketball. And for a while, I enjoyed basketball more than baseball. But I remember when I was 10 years old, just got done with my second year of like kid-to-kid pitch Little League. I was in the fall season playing football, and I said to my dad, I was like, hey, like, I don't think football is really my thing. Like, I want to start playing baseball for most of the year and then take the winter off and play basketball. So I decided to start devoting more time to baseball. And then as soon as I got to like the following year, 11, 12 years old, I started to realize that baseball was more my thing. And I started to gravitate towards that. Like, I get done with basketball practice and be like, Dad, can we go to the cages? Like, I want to go play baseball. And being up in the north with the winter months and everything, like, it's so much harder. I get 4 to 5 months to play outside, and just being able to really like battle through that and kind of go to the cages whenever I could. My dad was a very good resource. He got me a tee and a net, and we set it up in the garage, and didn't matter if it was 11 o'clock at night, like snowing, cold weather, I was always out there hitting.
Yeah, little kids now being around youth baseball, my family they kind of say tee work, They're not really wanting to do it. But obviously just hearing your story, talking to your mom, Cindy, who was great. She talked about just the work you put in at home, at kind of home base. What was that process like, getting better, not in some fancy, lab, but at home?
One word to put it is gritty. That's a word that we throw around a lot in our clubhouse and in our locker room. Is that obviously not having these facilities that are top notch, like in other baseball powerhouses around the country, but just doing what I can. I know that there would be a lot of days where I'd have my mom or dad outside throwing wiffle balls at me just to do whatever I could to hit. I'd throw balls up against my garage to try and get my arm strength. And then like the tee work was the biggest thing. My dad would always travel for work, so it'd be hard to work with him. We'd spend all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, working together and hitting. But whenever he wasn't there, it was tee work. And that's how my foundation started, was just tee work, tee work, tee work. He'd always say to me, because he'd call me, he'd be like, did you hit off the tee today? And whenever I was younger, of course, I was like, I don't want to hit off the tee. Like that's so like 6 years old. Like I'm 14, 15 years old. Like I don't need to hit off the tee. But it turned me into the player I am today. Like there's still times wherever my swing isn't feeling right during the season. It's all obviously a long season, and there'll just be nights where I'm like, I got to go hit off the tee. Like that's where everything starts.
I've talked to players who say it's almost like it's not so much the skill work, it's like the mindset, like it's like meditation almost. Some people meditate. Obviously, I know you're very spiritual. We'll talk about some of your spirituality of you and the team, but I've heard that it's like a spiritual experience. You're just like kind of, that's your zone. You're on the tee. It's getting you in the right mindset. Do you feel any of that when you're on the tee?
Yeah. Oddly enough, whenever I do go in and hit by myself, it's like I'll put on my batting gloves, close my eyes, and like imagine like playing against Notre Dame this weekend. Like this is my first AB against Notre Dame, and just like go through ABs in my head and be like, okay, this is an O count, like first AB of the game. Like if you get that center cut fastball, like hit it. And then there are other times where you don't really want to think about that. And it's just like go in there at like 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, just take a deep breath and be like, this is like what makes you feel good.
State College, you're in the shadow of Happy Valley, really, in Bellefonte. What made you pick baseball over football? You're a big guy. I'm sure you could lay some wood if you needed to. Was it just didn't like the physicality, or is it just like the mental part of baseball? What was it about baseball that you liked over football?
I fell in love with the game of baseball. I don't know what it was, to be honest. Growing up, I was a pitcher, but obviously hitting a home run's always sick. And obviously being so close to Penn State and being able to experience those Penn State football games, it's so hard not to have that as part of your dream. But I just love the mental aspect of baseball. A lot of people say that it's a game that reflects life. And I think that's very important and special, because in life, you're going to have a lot of failures, and it's the way that you kind of bounce back from that.
You being a player in the Northeast, right? You mentioned some of the disadvantages you have. Just weather, facilities, et cetera. But of course, there's been elite players. Talking about Mike Trout. Even if you go back in the day, like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, they were Northeast guys. Northeast players. Now since you're around all these Florida and Texas guys down here, what's different about them and then maybe their mentality to the game?
So with the Florida, like the Southern players, I think that they just have that swag, and being around them this past year, and even whenever I was at FAU for a limited period of time, I just learned like you got to have confidence, and you have to ooze confidence and know that you're good enough and that you belong. Like being in the Northeast, you have that mentality that like you're the little brother, and it's like you got to get big brother. And that's whenever you go down into Florida and Georgia in the summer ball tournaments and be like, okay, like I'm on a team of all Northeast guys. Like we're good enough, but they think that they're better than us. And it's almost like you got to punch them in the face. And that's kind of helped shape me into the player that I am today, is just having that mentality, and then also learning from them to be like maybe I am little brother, but like at least I'm going to have that confidence and that swagger.
I see it in your face. You still have that mentality today, right?
Yeah.
So playing baseball, you talked about the North and the South. When did the dream start to come down to the South, particularly to Florida, and play baseball?
So it was seventh or eighth grade. It was whenever I knew that I was starting to become good enough to play Division I baseball. And I'd always tell my dad, like, hey, like college baseball's on. And I'd already seen what Penn State baseball is all about, living 15, 20 minutes away. So I started to watch it on TV, and then like it'd just be on TV, like Miami, Florida State, Florida, Georgia, like ACC, SEC baseball. So whenever I got into eighth grade, started to get recruited by schools, and the story is that I had a time capsule that I had to write to my future self in 8th grade for my senior year of high school. And I remember writing down all these notes, and I was like, hey, I hope you're doing well. Like, hope baseball's still your first love. Like, I hope you're still playing baseball. And if you're not like en route to get drafted, I hope that you're going to go to a school like Miami. And opened it up, and I was like, it's like, I'm sorry to my younger self, because I'm like, I wanted to go to Miami, but I couldn't do that. And I was like, at least I was going to a Southern school like FAU that would be able to play Miami, to be like, if you're not going to be able to be a Miami Hurricane, at least you're going to be able to play against the Miami Hurricanes. So at the time it was kind of tough, but then going through college, realizing that I could play here, it was always the next step is to achieve my dream and to become a Miami Hurricane. And obviously I'm here now, and I'm very blessed.
So have that time capsule?
Yes, I do. It's in my room back at home.
It's gonna be awesome to look back on.
Yeah.
But just going through high school, I mean, obviously you're up there. I'm sure you were a pretty standout player, right? In terms of in your surroundings, I'm sure you had a lot of confidence from being a very effective player up there. When you didn't hear the schools come calling that you wanted at that time, what was that like?
You know, it wasn't necessarily hard. I mean, it was, because it was like there were only 3 schools that I really wanted to go to. I was getting a lot of other schools, but I was like, I want to go to these top 3 schools, but I wasn't getting any of it. But it didn't really like bring me down, didn't bring down my confidence, because like the game of baseball, you get 20 rounds in the MLB draft, and it's like you see guys after including the first round that are just like from small mid-majors, other Power 5s or Power 4s now that really aren't good at baseball. And it's just like I don't need to go to one of these top programs. Like, I just keep doing what you're doing. And if it's going to work out, like, your hard work's going to pay off. And just kept on telling myself, like, you're good enough. Like, just keep competing, keep doing what you do best. And if it's meant to be, it's going to happen.
Canes fans know how tough schools like FAU are, because you see them in the midweek. It's not very fun when your midweek opponent is a lot better than maybe other teams' midweek opponents. What was that experience like going to a school like FAU?
I got to be around a lot of really good players. The year that I was there, they had Nolan Shanuel, who is the current first baseman of the Los Angeles Angels. Our right fielder was Gabriel Rincones Jr. He's in AAA, I think, with the Philadelphia Phillies. He's knocking on the door to get to the MLB. Jackson Ross, he got drafted last year, transferred out of FAU to go to Ole Miss. We had Dylan Goldstein, who transferred into Georgia last year. We had all these really good players, and even though I didn't really get to play, I was able to get my feet wet and learn from some of the best players in South Florida, some of the best hitters even. Still credit to this day that Gabriel Rincones kind of helped shape my work ethic. Whenever I got to FAU, like, straight away from the tee work, and he kind of brought me under his wing and taught me like how to put in hard work and how to keep on keeping on and like embracing the grind. And like you brought it up, FAU, like in midweeks, like you get done with a series against FSU, and you're like we got to play FAU again. like it sucks in one aspect, but in the other aspect, it's like you never get a break. Like, you always have to play your best, and you saw how it was early in the year. We dropped the first game to them, and it's like, it's not going to be easy. Like, FAU's still FAU. Yeah. And
look, it prepared you obviously for ACC play with the run that you guys ended up making. Eventually going back home to Penn State. Tell me about that decision. You said you wanted to play baseball in the South. You're doing it. You're obviously at a high-level program, which we just talked about. But then going back home to Penn State, what went to that decision?
So going back to Penn State was a very easy decision for me. Like, growing up, being there, like, knowing what Penn State is about, what Penn State baseball is about. Having Coop there, who is on our staff obviously now. Whenever I had entered the portal at FAU, Coop was one of the first guys to reach out. And, like, out of high school, I knew that I wanted to go to a school down south. So it was very hard to turn him down, because he was such a father figure. Like, he's a very easy guy to get along with and a very easy guy to talk to. And he knows a lot of baseball. So turning him down initially was hard for me. And then whenever stuff didn't work out at FAU, I knew that I would get the opportunity to come back, because whenever I turned him down, the first time he said that, like, if anything were to happen, you know that you have a home at Penn State. So going back to Penn State was almost like a stepping stone to get to where I wanted to be, because Penn State is my original like hometown school before getting into the big schools like Miami and everything. Going to games there for a lot of my childhood, like knowing what it's like to play in the cold and building a culture off of that was very easy. And then go to Penn State, play with a lot of my friends that I'd grown up playing against. Like Grant Norris, he's one of my best friends. I still talk to him to this day. He was another guy that started in ACC school and then transferred back home. And we kind of just built a culture there that was like, yeah, we might not have originally worked out at the schools that we were at, but we can still play baseball. And like, that's what Penn State has turned into.
Obviously getting closer to your family. Tell me about your family's role in you becoming who you are, just growing up with your family.
So family's obviously one of the main things in my life, my main priorities. I talk to my mom every day and my dad every day. They've been my biggest support. Whenever things aren't going right in my life, they're the first people that I go to, whether it be school, baseball, like any negative self-talk, things like that. I always go to my parents. My dad has a degree in psychology, so he helps me with that. He's been a huge resource to me throughout my college career. Talk to him about everything from the mental aspect to different hitting tips, and he's turned me into the player I am. My mom is the loving one. Like if my dad says something that I don't like, I go to my mom and I'm like, Mom, Dad said this, but she's like, you're still like my favorite baseball player. Like I'm so proud of you for everything that you've done. And like, that's what family is. They've supported me throughout my whole career. They supported me whenever I went to FAU and didn't play and didn't do what I was supposed to do there. And then I go to Penn State, and like I'm so much closer to home. Like I would go home and have family dinner on Sunday. Every off day that I had, I'd be like, it's a 15-minute drive. Like I'm going to go home. And yeah, that was really nice. Like the support that they've given me is unbelievable.
I'm going back a little bit, but just growing up, I'm sure you're with your family a ton, driving to different games and all that lifestyle. Did you have time for anything else, like hobbies? Like what did you do growing up besides basketball, baseball, and just trying to be a better athlete and student?
So obviously, I graduated from Penn State and everything. I didn't get into this, but psychology's in my family. Like my dad, like I just said, my dad's a psychologist. My sister has a psychology degree. I always found that interesting. My dad would always give me books about psychology, whether it be the sports side or the other side. Just getting to kind of like embrace that winning mindset was one of my biggest things that growing up is what I would do. And then just family time, because, you know, baseball, basketball, all these sports, always tired. So it'd be like, I'd go home and be like, hey, can we just like hang out, like have a home cooked meal, like watch TV. Like that was the other big thing with the psychology thing. And then now, I know it started pretty later, in high school. I started to collect vinyls. So like that was like my away from baseball would be like, I'm just going to go to the record store and just look at vinyls.
What are some of the vinyls that you treasure that you've been able to collect over time?
So I have one of Tupac's original singles. I don't remember what song it was, but I was a big Tupac fan in high school. I got one of those original singles. And then as soon as I got down here, there's a lot of record stores down here. So I was like, I might as well go look. I have original print of America. I have Sade, Journey, Zach Bryan, Morgan Wallen. The music taste is all over the place, but like the main ones that I've gotten into recently are like Zach Bryan and some like 80s rock.
That's awesome, man. Definitely covering a big spectrum there. In terms of psychology, I want to stay on that.
Yeah.
A lot of baseball players watch this show and, you know, obviously look up to you because you've made it to where they want to be. Yeah. What's something mindset-wise that either has helped you along the way or maybe you didn't understand at first, and now that you're at the highest levels, you kind of say, that was right?
So the biggest thing for me was like the the screw it mentality. Like there's going to be people out there that are going to want to talk bad about you. Like, oh, you're not good enough to succeed in this game. Like baseball's the hardest game. Or like from the other side, like baseball's so easy and you're failing. Like you're not that good of an athlete. And it's just like being able to take what they say through in ear and then put it right out the other and just like throw it in the trash. That's definitely helped me because there's a lot of critics in baseball. A lot of people almost expect you to fail because you're in the ACC, you're playing the best of the best, and it's like you're expected to fail. And then whenever you do really well, it's like you're on top of the world. Everyone thinks that you're the best. And then like there are times where you'll fail more than you succeed, because to be in the Hall of Fame, you still fail 7 out of 10 times. And whenever you get to that stretch, a lot of people are going to question your credibility and your ability of succeeding in the game. And it's just like kind of silencing those critics and being like, I'm good enough and I'm going to show you how to do that.
We talked about this off air, getting baseballed.
Yeah.
Right. Just the nature of the game, kind
Yeah.
of getting you. What does that mean to get baseballed?
So getting baseballed is essentially you do everything right and it still goes wrong. It happens to everyone in their baseball career. And the thing about that is just like keeping with it and embracing the grind, because there's going to be times where you don't want to go to the baseball field, or like you don't want to go to a game. Not saying that that's happening right now, but like just like there's going to be times where baseball can be really cruel and you want to hate the game, but like that's the thing that makes you love it and appreciate it that much more, is that yes, it's a game of failure, and yes, you're going to get baseballed, but once you get out of the low point and you start climbing back up, you'll be able to really appreciate those lows and then kind of figure out how to maintain those highs.
The nickname Bobby Barrels, where did that start?
So it started at Penn State. The whole story was we were playing on spring break in Cary, North Carolina. And there was just like a stretch of like 7 or 8 games where everything I put in play was hit hard. And I originally was Bobby Bombs because in my first like 5 starts, I hit 4 home runs, and it was like, okay, like sick, like Bobby Bombs. Like I've never heard that before. And then throughout the season, like the home run numbers went down, but like the consistent barrel continued to happen. And that's what it turned into, was Bobby Barrels. It's been the reputation for the last 3 years, is that I'm going to put hard contact into play.
I'd heard that nickname coming in before I saw you play, really. Then the first couple series, you said, okay, that's why they call him Bobby Barrels.
Yeah.
We mentioned, talk about Coach Cooper. For those who don't know, talk about Coach Cooper, who's now obviously with the University of Miami here. The decision to enter the portal again from Penn State. Tell me about what went into that decision.
So being at Penn State for 2 years, we experienced success last year. Made it to the Big Ten championship. Essentially, we were 1 pitch away from making a regional. We weren't supposed to be there. No one had us going as far as we were supposed to go. We were an 8 seed, and we were playing the 2 seed in the championship. We upset the number 1 seed, beat the number 3 seed twice, made it to the championship. A really fun time. I really appreciated my time at Penn State, but going back to my dream was that I always wanted to play at the University of Miami. And I graduated from Penn State with my degree in human services. And I wanted to enter the portal to explore the options of potentially becoming a Miami Hurricane, as well as owing it to my younger self. That was definitely the biggest thing, is that right before I had decided to enter the portal, I sat down and talked to my parents, and I told them, like, I don't want to wake up one day and be like, what if I could have went to the University of Miami? Like, I didn't want to leave empty-handed with my college experience. So decided to enter the portal. Coach Cooper called me, and it was a done deal from there.
What was that like when it's done? You know you're going there. You haven't gotten there yet necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but you just know that has been checked. What'd that feel like?
It was a dream come true. I remember Coach Cooper called me. We figured everything out. I committed to the University of Miami. I remember the first thing that I did was call my mom and my dad and be like, I did it. I was like, I'm a Miami Hurricane. And obviously the waterworks went off because like you're sitting there like thinking, because like I had to sit before I even called my parents, and I was like if I was talking to my 13-year-old self right now, like he would be so happy and so excited. So that was the biggest thing, was that like all my hard work had paid off to get to my dream school, and to share that excitement with my family, because they knew that that was also my dream. But as soon as committing here, it was right back to work. It was, now how do I make an impact on this team? Like how do I make it through the fall? And then how do I have a good preseason? How do I get into the starting lineup? How do I maintain staying in the starting lineup? So like I had a 2-day period of being on top of the world, and then it was like, it's time to get back to work.
I know faith's very important to you, important to a lot of players on this team, but when something like that happens, where this dream that you've been kind of working towards and you don't know for sure it's going to happen, happens, you know, what's that like as a person of faith?
So obviously the faith aspect, you know, I've been praying to God about it for the whole couple of weeks leading up to entering the transfer portal. And it was like, God, if this is your will, like tell me and show me to get to where I need to make this decision. And I just be like reading out of my Bible, like doing my devotionals, and essentially like I just started to see more and more signs that were like one of the Bible verses, my favorite Bible verse at the time at the end of the season was Proverbs 16:3. It was, commit your plans to the Lord and your works will succeed. So I was like, if I just trust the plan, like trust what God's doing for me, like eventually, like I'm going to see what's going to happen. And like, it was just like a chain reaction of events. Like I had a good season, was praying to God, like ended up having this strong notion, like I need to, like, I want to enter the portal. Like, this is what I need to do. And then having Coach Cooper reach out and being like, okay, like here's another step on this path. Like my dream school's here. And then leading up, and then like having such an easy conversation with everyone on the coaching staff was like, Miami's a part of this whole process and this whole journey that you have in store for me. So which made it even easier to commit, and then like come down here and everything is just like falling into place. And like, that's God. Like, yes, it's just God.
I know, just again, everybody I talk to, they talk about really two things. Both, they talk about the players who organize in their faith, and it's a big group, you know, in terms of this particular team. And then just in general, like separate from that, just the clubhouse and how tight everybody is.
Yeah.
In a season like this, where the lows were pretty low, coming off a season which you weren't a part of, but obviously, you know, the vibes weren't good necessarily.
Sure.
The ability of this team to stay together and keep working and go to the other side. How much did the bonds that you guys have play a role in your ability to bounce back?
It was huge. Like we hit that low spot, and like there were some question marks just around the clubhouse, because like you like read everything that came out preseason, and like they had us finishing pretty low in the ACC, and then but like you have a top 10 freshman class, a top 10 recruiting class, and like it's just like not working, and it's just like what is going on? Like, how do we get through this? And then it's just like the ability to be like these are our 36, however many guys we have on our team, these are our 36 to 42 guys, however many it is, like this, like the answer is here. Like it's in this clubhouse, like we're not going to find it outside. And I think that's how it really started to kind of work out in our favor, was that like we weren't searching for answers anywhere else. It's like, it's not like we were searching for some obscenity to kind of happen to us to be like, oh, okay, like now we're good. Like now we can do it. It was, we have our brothers in this clubhouse, in this locker room, and it's going to take the whole unit. It's going to take every single one of us. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in the lineup every day, like Kuv hitting 360 right now, or being like our guy GM, our equipment manager. Like, it's going to take all of us. And that's what really transformed it, was that like we all bought in, and it was, we know we're good enough to play in a regional. We know we're good enough to go to Omaha. We just have to believe it, and we have to work like that. And that's what happened. And as you see, completely changed our mindset from, are we good enough to do this, to we're good enough. Like, we can meet our expectations and potentially go further.
Obviously, the best moments are yet to come, right? Your
Yeah.
story's still being written, so I know that's the answer. But in terms of just like a moment where you were like, man, okay, now things are starting to come together. Things are starting to click. Does anything stand out?
So I would say the Sunday game against Pitt. So Friday, we split the doubleheader, and it's like an 80% chance that all college baseball doubleheaders are going to be split. So we didn't expect, like, we expected to win 2 games, but like we lost one, and we were like, okay, like those are the odds. We're in the hotel Saturday morning trying to figure out if we're going to play on Saturday. The game gets canceled. We had practice. It's like 75 degrees out, like a good day for baseball. But we elected to play on Sunday. It was like 40 degrees and raining. And my roommate Carson Fisher was actually led our huddle pregame before the game on Sunday, and he was like, just make do. And we kind of had that like screw it mentality. Like we're a Southern team, and we're playing in the North in the cold weather. They thought that we wouldn't be able to play in that weather. We were just like, we got to make do. Like, we're here. We might as well win this baseball game. Like, it doesn't matter what the external factors are. Like, we have our 36 to 42 guys with us. We're a good team, and this is like a huge turning point. Like, we hadn't won an ACC series yet. We had split those 2 games, and we were like, this could be it. Like, this could be really good for us. We needed it really bad too. We ended up putting up like 15, 16 runs in 40 degrees and raining. We were like if we can do it, like, let's do it. And then that snowballed into what we are now. We won however many straight ACC series. And yeah, like, that's just been our whole mindset, is just make do and do whatever you can to make a contribution to keep winning.
I know people see the home runs, the celebrations, all the good stuff. They don't see the bad stuff in terms of, I'll say bad. They don't see the difficult stuff. They don't see the workouts where you don't want to work out, battling injury that maybe people don't know about, and going to rehab, all those kind of things. When you're in those low moments, what allows you to push through and still make it happen?
So I would say for our team, because we're a very close-knit group, I feel like I've known everyone long enough now to say this. It's just doing whatever you can for the guy next to you. And like, that's really what has helped a lot of people, is that like you're at a low point, but like, whatever's going on personally can't let what goes on the field for our guys like affect it. So it's like, for some people, like, oh, I'm not in the lineup today, but you can always cheer everyone on. Like, oh, I have a bad day at the plate, I have a bad day on the mound. Like, cheer on the other guys, cheer on the guys that's going to pick you up. And in those workouts and practices that guys don't want to be there for, it's like, we might as well work hard. Like, we got to make each other better, because there's going to be days in life, in baseball, in whatever you do, where you're not going to want to get up in the morning, and you're not going to want to go to work, and you're not going to want to go to practice. But it's just like, you got to push through that and do whatever you can to make the people around you better. And that's essentially how you elevate everyone around you.
We got a lot of fan questions here I want to get to. We got one from Chris C71, and you've answered this a little bit, but in terms of being a Cane, is there something, maybe seeing the uniform for the first time, just like an image or something that's just like, man, this is awesome?
So the biggest thing for me, it even happened before I was a Cane, and then seeing it firsthand, was that I got to the light at FAU and at Penn State, because we actually opened up against them my first year. And you walk out onto the field and you see the NCAA championships. And then you look into the dugout up above, right before the screening for the fans, and it says NCAA record 44 straight regional appearances, however many draft picks, however many big leaguers, and you're like this is a real program. Like, this is a winning program. This is what you want to do. And then as soon as I stepped on campus, walked into the locker room, and you see the ACC championship trophy, you see the national championship trophies, and you're like, this is a special place. Like, this is what you grind for, is to be able to compete for things like that.
Question here from Baseball Champ 007. Asking really, you graduated, right? So you got a lot of options.
Yeah.
Your baseball career going forward, just some of your goals and some of the steps you plan to take. I know you're focused right now on winning whatever you need to do to prepare for the game and then winning the game. But just in terms of your career, what are some of your, let's say, short-term goals outside of winning this year with the Canes?
I mean, obviously the goal is to be a professional baseball player, being draft eligible, just doing whatever I can to succeed and put my name out there to be able to reach my ultimate goal, being a professional baseball player, as well as doing what I can to try and get our Miami Hurricanes back to Omaha.
Beyond your own baseball career, so whenever that finishes, hopefully with a lot of Major League Baseball seasons and success, what's next? I know you're not thinking that far ahead, but in terms of just like what kind of thing do you see yourself doing? Is it baseball? Is it psychology? Is it something else?
I think I see myself being a college baseball coach. I think that being a hitting coach is my dream job. I hope to do it at the collegiate level. Like I've seen all levels. I've done camps with kids as young as like 8, 9 years old up to the college guys. And I just think that being a college hitting coach is so unique. Like you get to learn about a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds. You get to learn about their life and the path that they've taken to get to their point. And then like helping to be a part of forming a player into who they can eventually become and like reaching the potential of becoming a Major League Baseball player. I think that's a really special job to have.
It's baseball and psychology, right?
Yes, it is.
I know Laz is a pitching coach, but mental skills also, right? So do you see aspects of that, which you grew up with, in getting players ready to hit?
Yes, I do. I think that one of the biggest things that I've found success in, and a lot of our players have found success in, is the mindset that they bring going into the box. And when things go really well, it's almost tied into having a positive and winning mindset. Like going up to the plate, being like, this pitcher can't beat me. Like I'm better than this pitcher. I've prepared way more than he has, and just fall back on the preparation and telling yourself that you're good enough to do it. The mindset is almost more important than the actual hitting skills. Like you obviously have to have the hitting aspect of it and being like having all the right mechanics. But if you have a really good mindset, it doesn't matter what your swing looks like.
Question here from Zule. What's your favorite post-game meal?
Favorite post-game meal of all time has to be from my mom. There would be times where it'd be like a Friday night high school baseball game, and she'd be like, do you want me to make your favorite meal? It was salmon, asparagus, and mashed potatoes. Like that's one of my go-tos.
Pretty healthy.
Yeah, I love salmon. And then recently, since getting into college, it was steak and rice.
There you go. That's where the homers come from. Somebody you might know, Jake Dorn, wants to know, why do the fans call him Backside Bobby?
Okay. This is a good question, actually. So my hitting approach growing up, I think my sophomore year of high school, my freshman year was more of a poolside, hit the ball in the air, hit homers, because my high school field originally was 306 feet to right field. And if you get the ball in the air, there is going to be a homer. Sophomore year, we get to a field that the ball really doesn't fly, but the biggest part of the field was left center. So from 10th grade up until now, my approach has been stay center, left center, because that's where the money's made. If you hit doubles and homers to the middle of the field, you're going to be successful. That's where Backside Bob comes from.
You know, I was very worried when I saw the question from Jake, so nice job. Leonelli wants to know, in terms of just pitch, kind of watching a pitcher, right? What do you look for when you're sizing up a pitcher, whether you're on deck or you're doing advanced work? Like, how do you look at a pitcher and take that information to your at bat?
So the first thing that I want to look at is the pitcher's heat zones, like where they're going to throw left-handed hitters specifically, just because I do hit left-handed. So I go heat zones, velocity, and release point. Obviously, I want to know if they're straight over the top or if they're from the side. And then just kind of going from there, looking at what pitches he likes to throw in certain counts, and then essentially like trying to be as prepared as possible to like what zone and what pitch I want to be sitting on for whatever count.
So listen, Bobby, I got a question actually, because you're giving the musical taste. You told me Sade, you're talking about Tupac, you're talking about, Zach Bryan or some of these country artists. What's your pregame music to get ready to go?
So it depends on the day, honestly. Whenever I'm driving to the field, I will say that the last song that I listen to is my walk-up song. So early on in the year, I would always end my car ride with Easy Lover by Phil Collins and Philip Bailey. And then recently I switched it to Fear and Fridays by Zach Bryan. So that's always the last song that I want to listen to before getting out of my car, because it's almost like getting my headspace right to be like, I'm going to be hearing this 4 times tonight. Like I want to make sure that like, if I hear it, like I'm going to be locked in. And then in the locker room, we play all sorts of music. We play rap, we play EDM, occasional country, but that would be very early on in the day. We usually end, depending on the day, is with For My Dogs. And then on Sundays, we always end with B. Walt's Nobody.
There you go.
So just depends on the day, but yeah, that's usually the rundown.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, it's been awesome watching you as a Cane. For us in the stands, I know it's been fun doing the things you do, and the story is still being written, man. So really appreciate you coming on, and it's been awesome talking to you, man.
Thank you, of course.
Remember to like and subscribe to this show, Storm Sessions, on official Canes YouTube, as Canes All Access, also Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Bobby Barrels.
Thank you.